Welcome to Thailand for After the Flag. As you can see, a World Champion edition. Hello and welcome to Buriram for After the Flag edition 15. I'm Steve Day, this is Matt Birt, this is Simon Crafar. I cannot hear a thing here. As you can see behind us, Marc Marquez has just become World Champion for the 8th time. Oh my word. Hashtag 8ball. Unbelievable day, unbelievable weekend, so much drama. We have to start with what happened on Friday. He crashed. I can't believe he even came back to do what he's done. I thought to myself on Friday morning, there's no way he's winning the championship here after that. But he's gone and done it in the most incredible style. What a great race between him and Fabio Cannavaro once again. Matt, I'll start with you. Very, very similar race to Misano here today, where Fabio Cannavaro, I have to completely be honest and say, I wasn't 100% sure that Fabio would be able to deliver a result like that today. I mean, full credit to him. He got even closer this time to winning than he did back in Misano, but what can you say about this guy?
This guy behind us is a once-in-a-generation superstar, isn't he? He's absolutely awesome. I mean, Friday is in a local hospital feeling really battered and bruised after that massive crash at turn number 7. If you just said to him then, you're going to come back and win the race in that fashion at the last corner against Fabio Cannavaro to be crowned world champion, he would have probably laughed you out of the building. Absolutely sensational. That crash took his breath away on Friday. Today, he took our breath away. Another sensational performance from Marquez. A worthy world champion. Great show for the fans. Brilliant by Fabio Cannavaro, but 2019 for me has been all about one man, and he's about 10 yards behind him, lapping up all the celebrations.
Simon, he's taken 325 points out of a possible 375 points. He even said himself in a press conference a minute ago, this is better than 2014 when I won 13 on the trot. He's just been mesmerising.
Incredible, really. Like, I think, what he did on Friday, like Matt said, was stunning. I hope we get back to that later. But all year, he's won the championship convincingly, and never finishing it outside second is unbelievable. But it also makes what Fabio did unreal. To race with a guy with that experience and that talent in your first year, your first time here at this track, and not make a mistake, I think Fabio must have incredible feel, to be under that pressure, to throw everything at it, have a go at the last turn and not blow it was, to me, unreal.
Yeah, let's move on to Fabio Cannavaro. At the start of the weekend, it looked like he was missing something. He even admitted that. He's going to have to change something about his riding style, change something on the bike. But every single session, he got stronger and stronger and stronger. And then even after this morning warm-up, there was something in his eyes where I suddenly thought, hang on a minute, Fabio's really in this.
Well, he made the perfect start. One, he didn't want to get a bad start and then get dragged into a bit of a dogfight with the Ducati, certainly on the straights. And then it was just down to him and Marquez, just like it was a couple of weeks ago in Misano. Fabio rode just like in Misano. He did not make a single mistake. And when you've got Marc Marquez breathing down your neck for 45 minutes, it's easy to crack Booker. We forget, this guy is a rookie. This is only his 15th Motogp race. He'd never ridden here in Buriram before on a Motogp bike. He was absolutely, for me, sensational. If it wasn't for the fact that Marc won the title today and the race, Fabio would be going home by far man of the meeting. So much for him to take from this Grand Prix. He's learning so much racing Marc Marquez, and as he said afterwards, his time will come, and I think this man knows it as well. Marc knows he's going to be a massive threat next season, and he's going to be the new Yamaha star.
Steve, mid-race, Marc in Parc Ferme even admitted that Fabio had him stretched, didn't he? It wasn't just Marc taking it easy and following. He was trying to hang on, and it wasn't until the end that Marc obviously felt strong enough to fight back.
You can see the great job he's doing, because look where the other Yamahas were, a bit like Marquez and where the other Hondas were. The Yamahas, Morbidelli and Rossi struggled, and Maverick came late on, but the other Yamahas didn't get anywhere close to matching Fabio.
Before moving on to Maverick, because I definitely want to cover that situation with Fabio. It's so easy to forget how much he's grown from the kid who stalled in Qatar. We have to remember that's this season. He is a rookie, and what he's doing is amazing. What I really liked was the note that Marc made in the press conference. He said, this season has kind of gone the way I thought it would. Dovi's consistent. Rins might be there occasionally. Vinales might be there occasionally. But he said, Fabio is the wild card for me. He's the big surprise. I didn't expect it. That's great credit from a great world champion.
I think no one expected, because most people would think and believe it's just not possible to come in from Moto2 and fight Marc Marquez, you know, and like I said, stretch him mid-race. It's like unbelievable to me.
You think back, just over a year ago, to all the raised eyebrows when it was announced that Fabio Cannavaro was going to get this ride. They'd spoken to Jorge Lorenzo, they'd spoken to Danny Pedrosa, and people were almost like, Fabio Cannavaro? You're kidding. And that guy has stepped up to the plate unbelievably. I mean, Marc knows it. You know, he's a clever guy, Marquez. He's very, very smart. He's seen how strong Fabio is in Misano, saw how good he was today. You know, Marc had to raise his game. He had to ride at the peak of his powers to stay with Fabio, as Simon said, let alone beat him, just to hang in there with him. He was riding on his extreme limits. So Fabio Cannavaro, today we had a great exhibition again, the current star and the new star. I can't wait to see how their rivalry is going to unfold because I think it's going to get pretty tasty.
I don't think anyone can wait for that, and I mean, can't wait for next year already. Just go on to Maverick Vinales. When he had a similar race in Misano, Simon, he seemed to accept it a lot more. He was happy to be on the podium. He seemed less happy today to accept third because it's the same situation again. He said in the press conference a moment ago, and I quote him, we need to find a way of fixing this because we're losing precious time.
I'm disappointed for Yamaha, but especially Maverick, because I know he's got the talent, the speed. We all know, we've seen what he's done before, to go with that front two today. I really thought he was going to be there fighting Marc today, but again, there was that lull and fight back at the end. I spoke with his team manager, Mayo Marigali, and Mayo said that he had a lack of rear grip, right-hand side, through the mid again, like, you know, Misano was front, I think, and then also spinning on the straight, and he said he had to adjust his riding style to figure out how to keep it flowing and come back at the end. And interestingly, he said Rossi had the opposite side, complaining about lack of grip rear on the left side, and a massive drop-off again, rear tyre-wise, about 10 laps in, something like this. And really interesting, he said so did Morbidelli, and so did again. And Yamaha are trying to figure out if it's a style thing that they're doing similar that's causing the same problem, or what.
Well, yeah, I mean, it must be hurting them, especially when they're looking at Fabio racing Marc Marquez.
Well, we heard this man talking to Lynn Jarvis here on the weekend about the possibility of Fabio Cannavaro getting upgraded to the Spec A Yamaha next year. I mean, that's going to happen, isn't it? I mean, how can they say no? I mean, Cannavaro, I like what Maverick actually said after the race today. He said, you've got to give all the credit to Fabio Cannavaro because he's the man on top of that motorcycle doing the business. But he also said, my team have got to step up, giving credit as well to the Petronas SRT boys because they have found a setup which is allowing Fabio Cannavaro to ride that bike like he is. And Maverick Vinales said, it's up to my guys as well to put a motorcycle underneath me. That means I can do what he does. I thought they were really, really wise words from Maverick.
Is there any element of this where you could just say, because Fabio's a rookie, he's just riding it and he's not overthinking it?
Like, I really want to know because, again, I'll repeat, I really believe Maverick has the ability to run with those front guys, not make a mistake and win. You know, we've seen him do it before, but there's something, I don't know whether it's setting-wise or hunger, worry, stress, whatever it is going on, whether it's in his head or on the bike, I don't know, but I hope they fix it because I want to see a three-way battle.
We'll obviously talk about Marquez in a little bit more detail in a moment. Unfortunately, Suzuki's didn't quite have the day they want. I suppose they finished kind of where we expected them to finish. I feel very sorry for Jack Miller. Of course, what happened to him, he was wheeled off at the start, so he wasn't really able to play a part. We'll never know.
Pushed the wrong button.
Yeah, kill switch, wasn't it?
I didn't even know that. Yeah. This is live. We didn't even know that myself.
That's a mistake you're only going to make once in your career, isn't it? You will never do that again.
We'll never know whether Jack would have been able to fight for the podium. Before we talk about Desmo Dovi, let's just quickly have a look back from yesterday and see what our predictions were for today's race. Here are my predictions then for the Grand Prix of Thailand. This is a weird one. I don't know whether to go with my head or my heart. I think I better go with my head. On paper, Marc Marquez has the pace, so I think he's going to do it. I think he's going to win the race tomorrow, and I think he will be crowned world champion for the 8th time. Real toss of the coin on who gets second, third or fourth between Vinales, Quartararo and Dovi. I think Dovi's going to come through. His pace is better than it looks. So I'm going to go Dovi for second. I'll go Maverick Vinales third.
Well, it's been an action and incident-packed weekend so far for Marc Marquez, but I am going for the Repsol Honda man to bounce back from all that. He's going to be my tip to win here in Buriram. Tough one for second and third, but I'm going to go Maverick Vinales just to hang on to second place with Andrea Dovizioso coming through from seventh to take that final place on the podium. But for me, Marquez is going to tie up the world title in Thailand.
So my prediction for the race, I'm struggling a little because, yeah, I know the favourites for the podium, Marquez, Maverick and Fabio, but if Marc can't escape in the beginning, I don't think he wants to go into the last turn with those two wild boys that have less to lose right behind him. I think he would rather follow them and get third and win the championship. But I think he's going to try and run away, especially in the beginning. They don't want any Ducatis fighting with them down the straight. And so I'm going to say that Marc is going to manage to make a break and manage it. Then, it's hard between Maverick and Fabio. But Fabio's so good in the beginning. I think Maverick's so good in the end. I'm going to go with Maverick for second. And Fabio third. If any one of those three make a mistake, I think Dovi will be there to pick up the pieces.
Well, there you have it then, our predictions from yesterday. We weren't quite spot on, but we did get the race winner right after all. So we all kind of thought that Marc Marquez was going to be a champion here today. Interesting how we all felt like Dovi might have a bit of a bigger part to play in that.
I certainly thought he would do, yeah. I mean, Andrea's pace on race tyres in FP4 looked like it was going to be strong. I thought he was going to be a bit like an Aragon weekend, a little bit quiet in qualifying when he was going to come through, but never really got into contention. He made the starting one, so he got up into that fourth place, and I thought that he was going to start hunting down those top three, but let's be brutally honest, he was never in contention. It was kind of a timid way to give up the title, really.
From the moment we entered free practice one, Simon, they were a few tenths down, and we thought maybe in Dovi's style they'd kind of make that up, but it looks like, I mean, we kind of knew that the only thing that was going to stop Marc Marquez from winning today was going to be Marc Marquez quite early on in the race.
Yeah, I hoped that one of the Yamahas could stop Marc winning, meaning Marc might not want to risk it, win that World Championship, and if there's the Yamaha right there, he'll go, better than crashing. Anyway, he didn't. He wanted to win then, win the World Championship. But with Dovi, I'll be honest, I didn't think Dovi would be on the podium unless one of those other three made a mistake. And the thing, I spoke
Simon,
to...
I'm going to have to stop you here.
Sorry.
We have an important guest.
Welcome, mate.
Marc, huge congratulations. That was something special. I just want to ask a quick question about the race first. Matt will ask about the championship. Incredible weekend. Your team try and calm you down. Your team tell you didn't have to do what you did today. You could have quite happily sat behind Fabio, but that's what we love about you. You go all in, and it was just fantastic. Tell us about it.
It's true. It's true that what we did today was not necessary. I mean, what we did on the last lap was not necessary, but in the end, we have the chance to have a big advantage in the championship. So I already say on Thursday that my ambition, my mentality is try to win on Sunday, because then you win in a champion mode. I mean, and I'm a guy that always I try, and it's what I did today.
Please don't change.
we try. We will try to do change.
Marc, congratulations, fantastic race day. Congratulations also on the championship. Pleasure to commentate on your success this year. Just quickly on that championship, you've won so many. This was your 8th. What would you say was the key to your success this season?
I mean, first key, like every championship, is the team. I mean, the team around me. I'm here speaking. I'm here speaking with you, and all my team is supporting a lot. Is working really hard during all the season. But then, of course, the consistency. I mean, the consistency was the most important point. We improve a lot our weak points, and we fight for the victory every race, and this was the main difference between the opponents.
Simon, one last word from you. We've got to let this guy go celebrate.
I'm not going to ask you a question because you'll be sick of questions this evening. I just want you to know that I work in the pit lane, as you know. Today you won the race, like in style. You won the championship convincingly, with 4 races to go. You didn't just do that. On Friday when you fell, I was in the pit lane, and you left. When you got back on the bike and went faster than anyone straight away, honestly, the whole pit lane was I'm talking riders, mechanics, and respect, mate.
Thank you.
Unreal.
I mean, it's my style. Of course, the risk is something that we need to manage, but in the end, you cannot think about the risk. If you go out with the mentality that if you are afraid, if you are scared about something on the bike, then you are not a real rider, ready to fight for the championship. So. Yeah, I will try to keep this mentality for all my career.
Mark, thank you so much for joining us. Go celebrate.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks,
And
Mark.
congrats for your job. Thank you very much.
Should we keep that one? No. problem.
He's won everything else. He wants the microphone as well. Unbelievable. Right, let's get rid of that.
Hey,
great
that was
to
a cool
hear.
treat.
Great to hear
awesome.
from the world
Absolutely
champion. Great to see him so happy and delighted. It was really, truly mesmerising. We've touched on Dovi, of course. It didn't quite happen for him. It's looking like he's probably going to finish the World Championship in second place. Look, going ahead from here now, we go to Motogp. I mean, what does he do here? I mean, what does he do from here? I mean, is it now purely a test ready for 2020?
If I was him.
The mentality now for Mark is just purely to go into crush the opposition mode, try and win these final 4 races, and just have one little eye on 2020. Now the championship's done and dusted, I'm sure Takeru Yokoyama's going to be sort of trying to twist his arm a little bit. You know, we need some information, some data on next year's parts, but he is just going to want to end this season in style. He's going to want to keep that record as well. That record of finishing inside the top 2 in every Grand Prix bar Austin, he's going to keep that. Sometimes when he's won the title before, he's perhaps just taken his eye a little bit off the ball. He's made mistakes, but this Marc Marquez of 2019, I don't think that is going to happen. I can easily see him romping the next 4 Grand Prix, to be honest.
I think he'll want to smash it at every race, and because he can afford to risk. But I think because he's so clever, they're going to be fully focused on next year, trying stuff on the bike. Like, because the last races they didn't. They've kept the same chassis, kept the bike the same, with the target of winning. I think that'll change. That's what I would do if I was them, and then try to make the bike as good as possible. Use it as testing for next year.
Gentlemen, thank you as ever for your thoughts from Thailand. I think we're going to wrap things up here and say goodbye. We've got quite a bit of work to do over in the next couple of weeks. Of course, we take 1 weekend off now, and then it's 3 back-to-back. We go to Japan, we go to Australia, we go to Malaysia. Thank you for joining us in a baking hot Thailand here this weekend. But for now, enjoy the Marc Marquez celebrations. Hashtag 8ball. Onto the back straight we go. He's in the slipstream. Now he's going to go on the brakes. He's done it. He's through.
A classic late attack from Marquez, but it's all about the last corner.
Here comes Fabio Cannavaro on the inside. Marquez knows it's coming. He can't stop it. It's the cutback. The checkered flag is out. He's done it. He wins in Thailand, and he is the 8th-time world champion.
What a way to be crowned 2019 MotoGP world champion.